Hey, what's up everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm just going to a quick Photoshop tip, actually how to fix skin tones when they are kind of off. Sometimes you have models which have some different skin tones on her, maybe hand, arms, whatever, differently than her face. Sometimes it's because of makeup and sometimes it's just maybe a sunburn or something else just like that. So let's jump right into Photoshop and see how we can fix skin tones. Alright, now we're here in Photoshop. I already made a layer here with the skin fix. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So if I turn it off, just like that, you can see those red skin tones here. And if I enable it again, those skin tones are matched with the rest of her skin actually. So I actually used 3 different hue saturation layers, but let's start from scratch. So I'm gonna disable this one and start with a new hue saturation layer. And also there are 3 different methods I'm gonna show you today. So yeah, you can actually conquer this differently in different ways as always in Photoshop. So let's start with the hue saturation fix. So yeah, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more. And as I know, or as you guys already know, hopefully skin tones are always in the red channels. So I'm gonna choose red here. And down here is a so-called qualifier tool. So you can isolate what you wanna have in as a selection actually. So I'm gonna pull up the saturation and also the hue just like that until you get a pretty ugly image. So now I'm gonna pull down from the right side here until I get to the red zone. And I know this part here is pretty red, so I'm gonna leave it like that. And then I'm gonna pull in from the other side, just slowly, just like that. So we can really isolate the red skin tones. All right, this looks good, I think. Let's disable this mask and see if we get those red tones. And it looks like we already selected those red tones. But to make your selection even better, let's actually reset the saturation and the hue here. So go back to the red channel and turn down the saturation or double click on it. So you have 0. And now I'm using my mask to really isolate the red zones here or the red skin tones. So I'm using a brush with a flow of 100%. You can use whatever you want. I just go through with a 100% brush. And what I like to do is holding down Shift and Alt so I can see where my mask is going. So I'm going to brush over the red zones here pretty roughly, just like that. This a little bit, and over here we get some redness going on, just like that. Now I'm gonna invert my mask and this is my selection. Now again, go back to your reds instead of master. Otherwise you're gonna change the whole image. So we got the reds here, and if I pull this around, you will see that we make some extreme changes in the zones we just selected with the qualifier tool. So let's see if I turn this around. As you can see, we got some pretty extreme colors going on, color shifting. So let me reset this. All right, so if I turn this hue to the left side, I get more redness. If I turn this hue to the right side, I get more blues and magenta tones. So to fix redness in the skin tone, I'm gonna pull it to the right side. And as you can see, we get pretty decent tones. Don't overdo it, just go slowly. You can also turn down the saturation a little bit. And let's see it before and after. I don't know if you can see it on YouTube, but the neck is getting pretty normal here, not a lot of redness going on. And this is our selection. Maybe we got some redness up here. Maybe we forgot to select this. So always go back to your red channel and check if you selected it. Actually you did. This is gonna affect it. So you can turn down the saturation maybe a little bit more and go more to the right side. And yeah, I think this is better than before. I mean, a lot better. You won't even notice this little part here. So as you can see, we get rid of the redness over here in the shadows and also down on her neck. So this is a pretty simple and easy fix. So yeah, the next one is going to be a little bit different. So let me turn off this layer again. So I'm gonna start with the gradient map, which you can add up here in the adjustment tab. So let's just create one. If you don't have the adjustment tab, you just go and go to Windows, here on the adjustments. Just turn it on and you got this whole panel. All right, let's just click it. And now we have a gradient map. And as you can see, this is black and white now, but this is not what we want. So I'm gonna turn down the opacity here. And also I'm gonna click from the mask to the gradient map actually, and left click on the color here. And now what I wanna sample here is, yeah, just double click on the left one and watch out for a darker color. So mid-tone, darker side. So just like this here. And for the other side, double click again. Just watch out for a mid-tone, which is a little bit brighter. Just like maybe up here. Okay. And now we get this gradient of skin tones. Now click on OK. And if we turn on the opacity, it looks pretty awful. So just leave it like that. Go here and change the blending mode to color. And also this would look awful if you turn it on 100%. So let's leave it around, let's say maybe around 50 or so. And now we're gonna invert our mask so we don't have the whole image affected. Now this has no effect on our image. So I'm gonna use my brush tool once again. My flow is on 100 here, just to show you how it works. My flow or hardness is on 0. My flow is on 100 and my hardness is on 0. And now I can just paint over it and get rid of the redness, just like that. As you can see here, we just put a gradient map over the redness and now we can get rid of that. So I just painted over her hair accidentally, so I'm gonna invert my brush using a black brush here to exclude it from my mask. And if I show you my mask, this is my selection and these are the parts where we get rid of the redness. If I turn it on and off, you can see a huge difference. We can also go here and adjust the opacity so it's not that intense. As you can see, if I go down here on 0, it's obviously red. If I turn it up a little bit, it's gonna be a lot better. And if you have different rednesses in her skin, you can just go with different gradient maps and just turn and just lower or even intensify the opacity of each layer and also only mask out the parts you want. Usually you can do this on her face super good. If she has some redness or so, you can even out the skin really good with this technique. All right, let's turn it off. The last technique is actually not much different than the first one. So I'm using a selective color layer here, and I can actually take the same selection for demonstration purposes. So I'm gonna drag and drop this selection here, which we had here already. Or maybe this one is even easier to show. So I'm gonna take this one. And now we can just adjust reds and yellows. So if we have too many reds, we can just turn down the magenta slider or actually add some cyans to get rid of the redness. Because taking away magenta is adding some greens. So let's do that first. And as you can see, our skin tone is getting pretty good here. Maybe just adding some cyans here a little bit so we don't get too much green tint. And if you want to add some rosiness, you can just turn down the yellows just a little bit. And before and after, also getting rid of those skin tones pretty fast. So these are my 3 techniques usually I use for skin fixing actually, or getting rid of different skin tones. if she has some redness or something else in her skin, or if her facial skin doesn't match her arms or so, just because of the makeup. Sometimes it's just like that. I use one of those techniques to get rid of it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a pretty short one, but I just stumbled upon this idea when I edited this image. So let me know if this was helpful, and if you want to know more quick tips or short tips like this instead of whole editing breakdowns or whole edits where I just go through an image. And if you enjoyed this one or have any questions, just let me know in the comments, and also let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. So hopefully I will catch you in the next one.